All right, let's get right into it. Something huge just went down in the real estate world, and it has everybody talking. REMAX just pulled off a seriously calculated, super aggressive power play. So in this explainer, we're going to break it all down for you. What happened, why you should care, and what this whole thing might mean for the future of the entire industry.
And just to give you a sense of how big a deal this is, you gotta hear what one of the REMAX executives said right after. This isn't your typical corporate PR fluff. This is a straight-up declaration of war. It really sets the tone for this whole story. REMAX isn't just sitting back, they are actively on the hunt.
So what are we really talking about here? I mean, what was at stake? Well, in terms of sheer sales volume every year, the brokerage that REMAX just scooped up, it's responsible for, get this, $3 billion. A number like that, it just screams that this wasn't some tiny everyday acquisition. No, this was a heavyweight prize.
And it's not just about the cash, right? It's about the people. Over 1,200 agents, think about that, made the jump in this one single move. Can you imagine the logistics, the sheer influence of moving an entire army of top-performing real estate pros from one huge brand to another, basically overnight?
Okay, so let's get into the specifics here. We need to really understand the scale of what we're looking at, because this wasn't just another deal for REMAX. This was, and I mean this literally, the single largest brokerage conversion in the company's entire history. A massive milestone.
So here are the nuts and bolts. REMAX brought over 2 big firms in the Toronto area. And here's the juicy part, these firms used to be with Royal LePage, one of REMAX's biggest, fiercest competitors in Canada. So this wasn't just an acquisition. You could almost call it a raid on their rival's turf.
And to really get why this move was so brilliant, you have to look at who was involved. This wasn't just a business deal. It was more like a high-stakes chess match, and every single piece on the board played a really critical role.
This table really lays out the drama perfectly. You've got REMAX playing the aggressor, making this huge play. Then you've got the prize, which is this powerhouse family-owned brokerage called the Rissy Group, with 17 different offices. And then there's Royal LePage, the rival, who just watched their single largest franchise walk out the door. Ouch.
So that's the big question, isn't it? I mean, with all the brokerages out there, why this one? What was it about the Rissy family's operation that made it the absolute crown jewel that REMAX felt they just had to have?
Well, it boils down to a few really key things. For one, the leadership team is just incredibly well respected in the industry. The scale, as we've said, is just off the charts. But what I find most fascinating is the trust factor. See, this deal didn't just happen out of the blue. It was built on a relationship between the Rissy family and REMAX leadership that goes way back. And that trust? That was the secret sauce that made this whole thing possible.
So, how did the competition take it? Let's just say, not well. The president of Royal LePage actually put out a video to his agents, warning them about noise and disinformation and this false urgency. But here's the kicker. The video was deleted later on. I mean, if that doesn't tell you how high stakes and sensitive this whole thing was, I don't know what does. It's pretty clear this move sent some serious shockwaves through the other side.
Now, to understand why this was such a killer move, we have to look at the bigger picture, the battlefield, so to speak. The real estate market itself is changing in a really dramatic way, and that created the perfect storm for a bold play just like this one.
And this slide just nails the current situation. The market is totally polarized. You've got the full-service brands like REMAX on one side offering tons of support, offices, real management. And then on the other side, you have these fee-based companies that offer way less support. And according to REMAX's own president in Canada, that fee-based model is seeing a lot of people leave as its heyday starts to fade.
So, think about it. In a tougher market, where there are actually fewer agents than there used to be, a really important question comes up. Where are the serious, full-time professionals going to go? Are they going to try and tough it out with a low-support model, or are they going to look for something more?
And that leads us to this really key idea in the industry right now, the flight to quality. Basically, when things get tough, the best of the best, the top agents, they don't want to fly solo. They start moving towards established brands that can give them powerful tools, real support, and a name that everyone recognizes. This trend is like the wind in REMAX's sails right now.
So, this huge acquisition, it's not just a one-off thing. It's actually a key piece in a much, much bigger global puzzle. So let's zoom out and look at REMAX's long-term game plan.
And there you have it, straight from the horse's mouth. The president of REMAX Canada just lays it out. The goal isn't just to be a big fish, it's to be number one.
in every single market. They're not satisfied with where they are. They're gunning for total domination.
You can pretty much break their strategy down into 3 steps. First, finish conquering Canada. Second, help their own brokerages find new ways to make money, especially since the total number of agents might be shrinking. And third, use that solid foundation to hit the gas on growing all over the world.
And they've even put a date on it. They're expecting all 3 of these engines, the US, Canada, and their international business, to really start firing on all cylinders in 2026. This move, this huge acquisition, is like pouring fuel on that fire.
So, what's the big takeaway here? This wasn't just another business transaction. It was a strategic masterstroke. It took advantage of market trends, long-term relationships, and a super clear vision for the future. REMAX just made a huge move and basically flips the entire chessboard over. The only question now is, who's going to move next?